and is making the early running, and that is the Lucas Oil's Outer Limits boat, just cutting right over Rascoli Hotels. That was a nasty moment for the Italian crew.
Yep, they would have got a face full of water there. Not easy to drive through, but good on them, they kept going.
And we saw a shot inside the Lucas Oil's Outer Limits boats. Joe Spro and Mike Fiore looking very calm, but I'm sure that's not quite how they're feeling. But as the race starts to establish themselves right in the centre there, you see the Rossioli Hotels boat that was second in Malta, and they're chasing hard, but it's going to take a while for these boats to sort themselves out.
Yeah, you can see the conditions actually changing here as they've left the harbour. This sea is not as flat as we thought it was. They've got a good old beat.
Stop the Fountain Lightning 43 problems with that, so unfortunate for them as we look ahead. And there's Keaton, but look out far to sea and you see OSG, last year's Evolution champions and winners of the Malta round, being chased by the new entry this weekend, Fountain Worldwide's Ilmore powered King of Shaves. The 99 boat is pushing on really hard, and that is Keaton that we get a great view of there.
Outer Limits as well, Lucas Oil's Outer Limits, absolutely, he's really pushing forward there. He's actually going to gain on these guys and take Keaton.
But that's if they can catch these two who are just heading around one of the marker buoys now. But incredible speed from these two.
They've got to be running about 105 mile an hour at this stage, and this sea, as you can see, a horrible beam sea trying to push them onto the side. Quite very difficult conditions, because you can run at top speed, but you've got to be careful of those holes that are suddenly going to throw you off.
James Shepherd and Craig Wilson in the King of Shaves are closing very quickly on the pairing on the OSG Donsey boat.
This boat is running beautifully. It's actually running two Ilmore petrol V10 engines. All the other boats are actually running V8 engines, and you can actually hear the difference. It sounds fantastic.
And they've done so much for that boat in such a short time, but OSG is the marker they're heading for at the moment. The current champions who won, as we said last time out, and that boat just skipping through the waves. And that's the rear view shot from the Fameplast boats, the Metamarine TNT 46, which is currently in 5th place. And look at this now.
These boats are running beautifully. We're running 105 mile an hour here in a really quite a big swell. That is very close racing.
Very close, and I can't believe how close, Shelley, these boats are running. OSG just holding that as they start to turn, but King of Shaves is right there with them.
James Shepherd is a very... Oh, this is going to look fantastic corner there. That is absolutely brilliant. Let's see, I think he might actually get this lead now.
And we drop back to see Wetpunkt and Keaton, who are now fighting it out. And Wetpunkt just on the slighter, tighter line, I think. And we're back to this lead, and there's nothing in it. It's right between... Oh!
Look at that! This is the closest racing I've ever seen. I mean, these boats are quite difficult to handle. They're in a swelly sea there. This is absolutely superb, but very aggressive driving from James and Craig. And look at the lead they've got because of it.
Visibly then, you saw the King of Shaves in that Fountain Worldwide just move straight ahead. Where did he find that speed from?
He was basically just trying to push OSG into that corner. He was trying to push OSG off his line and actually succeeded brilliantly.
That's Bootsy Bullet 3, which we have second in the Supersport class. Interesting little fins on. Oh, Jackie Hunt and Mike Shelton coming through. And so that is the battle for second place in Supersport.
Extremeboat.com always doing well, and she's pushing up there again.
Meanwhile, you can't get any closer than that. James Shepherd really just clips the buoy as Giancarlo Cangiano and the OSG boat continue on in second place.
The OSG boat is going to really be pushing now. They'll see that Fountain's got the lead, and they will not allow King of Shaves to take this race. They are going to fight to the end.
And he is building quite a considerable lead. You can see 1st to 4th in that shot. So we go on board with Fameplast in 4th place, but they are being chased very hard on the inside by Wetpunkt.com, who are right with them now. And 64 boat continuing on. Wetpunkt right on the inside. Beautiful move from Miles Jennings there.
Yeah, these deep
with the Skater 399, as we see Rossioli Hotels, who are leading the Supersport class. Brand new boat last time out. Chaldron 41 with Mer Cruiser engines. And that's the Carpenter boat, also making its debut here in the Powerboat P1 World Championship and hoping for good success. Didn't get to run at Malta because of some problems they had, but they're here now just keeping track of everything that everybody's doing around him as we see Lucas Oil's the Outer Limits boat looks fantastic from the top.
Looking at Wet Punk here, we seem to have a problem with their sort of outer tube there. We've lost some air in it. That looks like a small problem, but I don't actually think it will affect the running of the boat.
And they're running currently in third place, so another good showing from them. And let's see who that's catching. That's OSG that they're catching now, the Donzi 38. And Fainplast we have in fourth place. So starting to eke out a little bit of differences between some of these boats as we see Extremeboat.com second in Supersport for Mike Shelton and Jackie Hunt, and the Way of Happiness is new to the series, and that's an Evolution boat passing a Supersport boat, so presumably that's something to do with the way they started.
I would say as a new boat on the course, they probably took it quite easy at the start and held back and let the big boys go and race first, so they're slowly catching up. They're doing good.
And a great battle going on now for third place in the Supersport class between Portomasso Shoulder and 2 and Bootsy Bullet. Third and fourth place pretty close, and that's a fantastic shot.
You can see the way they're getting thrown around there. It's a horrible swelly sea out on those offshore legs, but look at this. This is really good close racing. Yep, and the crew's looking over their shoulders, checking to see where their opponents are. They'll be pushing those boats to the absolute limits.
How far do you dare go close to another boat like that?
Oh, you'll go until you touch the paintwork.
So Martin Lai also making up some ground. He's 6th overall in the Supersport class, but right behind him is the OSG boat, and behind that is Wetbook.com. So that's the battle currently for second and third place as OSG continue to lose a bit of ground on the Fountain Worldwide boat, the King of Shaves, which is ahead of them now, but that boat still looks great.
Yeah, but you can see OSG are really pushing that. They know Wetpunk.com are actually chasing them behind very, very fast.
At that point, would OSG be thinking, right, the Fountain boat's gone, you know, there's nothing we can do about that, we just have to hold this position?
Yeah, battling for second place. They will not want to drop to third.
And second place in Supersport, that's Extremeboat.com, the Rossioli Hotels boat ahead of it now, and I don't think that boat is quite right for them this weekend.
No, Extremeboat.com not running as well as... Oh, and this is a disaster.
Absolute incredible sight of the OSG boat that's upside down. Both of the pilots are okay, we can see them there, but something has happened to that boat, and is that a combination of conditions and also pushing too hard?
Wetpunk were really chasing them down, so I would say yes, they were pushing it to the limit, and a horrible beam C, and bang, it's over.
So we're going to see a changing order, not just because OSG have gone out, but because some of the other boats checked to see if they needed to give assistance. The rescue crew, though, were there on time. There, both the crew perfectly okay as they make their way back to land. And problems for Extremeboat.com. They've come to a standstill.
We said this boat was looking like it had problems, and we were right, Chris.
Well, big disappointment. They've been fighting with getting that boat right all weekend. They've got underway again, and I would imagine they'd want to try and finish if they could. Engine problem. But meanwhile, we have to say it's all good for Lucas Oil's Outer Limits, who've continued. They did have a look at the flipped OSG to see if they needed to give help, but they're currently in fourth place, but that boat looks...
I can only say, Chris, that the conditions are... It's a very fast and furious race, and they are pushing everything to the limit. Unlike Fountain Worldwide King of Shaves, who is doing absolutely brilliant. And look at Wetpunk, they've actually gained on him here. That's fantastic.
Yeah, very close. They're on the last lap. The checkered flag is going to be shown to King of Shaves very soon, and it's going to be the most perfect of debuts for them. And a delighted Rossioli Hotels Roma boat as well. This is only the second race that they've had that boat out in, and they're going to be winning the Supersport class as they continue on their final lap of this race.
King of Shaves, how brilliant is that? This boat came out of the wrapper on Thursday, arriving in Naples, and look at this. They are going to win the first race it's ever run in its life.
Yeah, and prior to this race, the new pairing of James Shepherd and Craig Wilson had only had an hour together, and a fantastic achievement for them. And Rossioli Hotels, well, you can tell they're delighted.
Absolutely delighted. Look at that. That is superb. They are so happy. They've run a very, very good race. Machinery's held together, which today has been a problem.
So Rossioli Hotels and the King of Shaves have got that feeling that they've been out here wanting to get, and that's the feeling of victory and feeling of success. King of Shaves wins then, a close race towards the end for Wetpunk.com, who gets second place. The confirmation of the Supersport result then, 44.